Let's go live. Catch it when you catch it. You can catch this when you catch the live. I don't go live a lot. Nah, I need to start. I need to, damn this damn mic. Roll back. Roll back this way. Let's do it like this. Let's talk. I want to look. A lot of you guys going to catch this on the replay, and that's fine. But America right now, it's like we are falling for the okey doke, man. We can't keep falling for the okey doke, for this bullshit, these race narratives that they want to plant in the system. We can't keep falling for this, man. We can't keep falling for this. We can't keep falling for this okey doke that they trying to divide us. No, we can't do it. We can't do it. So tonight I want to do just a quick live. I don't know. I wanted to play this video. And I wanted to play this one, especially after the Ben Crump goddamn the disgrace of a news conference. Top shelf. Can you top shelf? You want to hear you want to hear Ben Crump? It's hard listening to Ben Crump, bruh. Top shelf, man. Look, and I look. This is random. I should have called you. I should have hit the whole crew up. But this is just a random. This is just a random live stream that I decided to go with. And I know you wanted to talk about something else. I know you did. If you want to come up and talk about that, you can. Let me know. I will shoot you the link, bruh, and you can come up and talk about that. I do, but this is like I want to. I'm trying to figure out where the divide is at. Like, what is that? Like, what's going on? Okay, I feel you. What's going on in the black community? Like, why are we falling? Like, why are we so falling for this racism shit? Don't y'all understand that this is the distraction? This is part of the distraction. But, you know, I had a conversation with my brother today, man. We had a deep conversation. And the hope is done. It's done. There's no hope. Look, look, well, this is what I told him, right? The divide is starting to happen, right? The divide is starting to happen. It is. And when I say the divide, I'm talking about the divide within the black community. It's happening. And to me, it needs to happen because we have been sold this idea that here in America we all need to stick together. We all need to be as one. That don't even make no sense. In Africa, they don't all stick together. All black people in Africa don't even stick together. No, all tribes in Africa don't stick together. Nuh-uh. So why would you think black people from New York? I'm not even gonna go that far. Even we can go right here in Vegas. No, I don't know where you from. You may be from a different. I don't know. Nuh-uh. We're not doing that. So let's play it. I want to play this video. And this is from Officer Tatum. And I know some people, oh, he a sellout. He got a white wife, and oh, he this and that. But at least he went down there and interviewed the boys. He went down there and interviewed the boys that were with Nolan, right? He went down there and talked to the people down there in Mississippi. The mainstream media, you don't see them doing this. You don't see them doing this. They not gonna show you that because they want to keep this divide going on. That's what they want to keep. So y'all let me know if this is part 3. You guys go to Officer Tater, and let me say this: I don't agree with some of the stuff that Officer Tatum he spits out because I understand he's a grifter too. He gon' stand on his side and all that shit. I get it. He making bread. I get it. So a lot of his shit, he not gonna be he gonna be biased with a lot of stuff. However, at least he's going down there, putting in the work, going down there, talking to these kids, and not just listen to the Al Sharptons and the Ben Crumps. We can't do that, black people. Nuh-uh. We can't. Come on now. Y'all trying to tell me Ben Crump is the voice of the black community now? Is that what you got? Is that what you guys are telling me? It can't. It's like no. Let me know if you guys can hear this. Hold on.
I mean, Nolan was like a brother to me. Nolan lit up every room he walked in. 4th of July, everybody was out there. Nolan rode out on the Triton, and then we had a Palm Beach, 18 Palm.
Can you guys put a 1 in the chat if you guys can hear that? I just want to make sure you guys can hear that before I be playing. If I'm playing it, let me know if you guys can hear this.
Palm Beach, there was 4 guys on that. The rest of the group, which was probably ranged from maybe 10 to 15 or 16 people on my buddy's tide line.
Yeah, so y'all pretty much having a good time. And then you guys get ready to leave prematurely.
Right.
And like what explain.
I don't know what kind of boots right on top show. I don't know what kind of them shoes Brandon Tatum got on. He has definitely crossed over.
And that because you guys got there around 10.
Yeah.
It's now 4:30.
Right.
People are still out there partying and
Correct.
they're having a good time, but something happened to where it necessitated you guys to get the boat up and running. Can you explain that?
Yeah. So I had a girl come up to me and say, "Hey, your brother just got in a fight." And obviously I have a younger brother, and that's who she was talking about. And I was freaked out. So I walked over to the beach, and I didn't walk over. I ran over. I made a beeline. I didn't talk to anybody, put my drink down and walked over there. And my brother was kind of angry, and, there was a lot going on, but someone was getting pulled away. I don't know who it was. And my brother was like, "Oh, I just got in a fight." And
see, what's going to happen is people are going to hear this, and they're going to automatically say it is this white kid is lying. And black folk, I'm wondering, when can we get out of this mentality of white man bad? When are we going to understand that that's really keeping the majority stuck? Because we so focused thinking that this, like, even this kid right here, we don't know him. We don't know him at all. We don't know his history, but we automatically paint him with this brush that he's automatically bad based on history.
this guy punched me in the face, and I punched him right back. And then went to the ground, and my brother put him in an armbar. And
was Nolan involved in any of this?
Absolutely not. When I was over there, it was a bunch of younger guys like my brother's age, and I mean, Nolan. I never saw Nolan over there.
Yeah.
Absolutely not. And okay, sorry, I just lost my train of thought.
So you get ready to go. There's an issue with the boat.
Okay, yeah.
And this is
well,
what
this led up to that. That's what I was saying.
So the fight happened with your brother, or a little scuffle. I'm assuming that it was cleared up.
Right.
You got your brother out of that situation, and then how did you find out that this boat is sinking?
Well, I walk back over, and like we're probably around each other for a little bit. I mean, I wasn't thinking anything of it. I told my brother, I pulled my brother off the beach, and I was just like, listen, get in the water, hang out with us, calm down. I mean, he was calm, but I didn't want anything else to happen, And so once I got back over to the boat, I got on the Triton, and the Triton had probably about 6 inches of water up to the transom. And I was freaked out because I'm good friends with Wyatt, and that was his boat.
And let me just break this down. Like I said, this is part 3. If you guys want to hear the first 2 parts, you go over to Officer Tatum's channel on YouTube, and you hear the first 2 videos of him breaking this down. They break it down of how they left that morning, the tradition of the 4th of July there in Mississippi, what they do. Boating is a way of life out there for them. It's a way of life. Horn Island is thousands of people out there. So it's not like we have to erase, like the thing with Ben Crump and the Al Sharptons, they automatically want to implement race, black people, to get us riled up. We have to stop falling for that BS. Because there's no evidence, there's never been no evidence presented that race was a factor here. Now I can understand if some evidence came out, or if there was something that was said, some words that were said that race was interjected into any of this, but there's no evidence of that. So why would Ben Crump and Al Sharpton automatically push that to the rest of the community, to the rest of the world, to the rest of the United States? Why is that? You guys have to understand the play, man. Watch the play, man. Like, come on. What are we doing, people? What are we doing?
And, no water's coming out, no access water's coming out. And, it was a big issue because I think the reason was because there were so many people getting on and off the boat. And at some point, the boat was very, very crowded. And there was just a lot of people on, so that it drags water in. And eventually, I think over time, we were out there for a couple hours. The boat just started filling up with water. So I popped the starboard side hatch, and the battery was completely underwater.
See, this is white folks boater talk. Let me explain to you guys. This is white folks boater talk. If you're not a regular on the water on a boat, you're not going to understand this lingo, this dialogue. You're not going to understand what he's talking about. Because as black folks, we don't swim. We not really on the water. Some of y'all, a lot of y'all. But I've owned a couple of boats. I know how safety is even though we wasn't playing safety on the boat, but things can happen on the boat, right? So I know this is foreign language to a lot of people that may come across this video.
And so the motor wouldn't trim down. I mean, my buddy would go to trim it down from the console, and it'd trim down, and then it'd come right back up. And so Wyatt's trying to throw a rear anchor, so we're caught, and he's, yelling at people. Everybody's kind of freaking out. And eventually I'm like yelling at other people, trying to tell them, calm down. Like, the boat could possibly sink, and I'm not paying attention to everyone around me. I was paying attention to my buddy's boat. And that's what all my other friends that were on that boat were doing, trying to solve the problem.
So you're on the boat now. The water is getting up to the point where the boat may be disabled to where you couldn't get it out.
Correct.
From Horn
Correct.
Island. So what happens after that?
Wyatt jumps to the water, tries to throw a rear anchor, and my buddy Meyer, you're sitting, looking, trying to pull trash out the bilge. And the bilge is basically a pump that pulls the access water out the boat. So the bilge was failing to work. So any excess water was just sitting in the boat. It wasn't getting pumped out. And I looked over the gunnel, and I looked at the release hole for the bilge, and it was even with the water. So, I mean, we're all freaking out. all of our, we're not focused on anything else other than the boat.
And eventually they're going to get to the point, because here's the question that I was asking. Where's Nolan? Where is Nolan when all this is going on? Right? Where is he at? This is what I'm asking, because I understand. I've owned 2 boats before. I've been out there on the water. We've been drinking, been kicking it, and I know how it is when we out there on the water. Anything can happen. The bilge pump, stuff filling up with water. I understand all that stuff in the boating community. Not everything, but I understand most of it. All the lingo, nah. Down south, they have a lot more waterways than here in Vegas. In Vegas, you got a Lake Mead. That's it. So, but I wanted to show you guys this just to hear from a guy that was out there. So some of you guys may not have seen this video. Some of you guys may not be familiar with Officer Tatum. And some people call it the same thing. Never mind. Let me continue playing it.
Well, then eventually my buddy Bart on the tide line is like, I'm going to pull y'all out to where we're out of all this, all this chaos. Cause we left at 4:30 and there were still just as many people there, if not more than when we got there. I mean, probably around the same amount. I mean, it was crazy. Like there was a lot of people. And eventually Bart pulls us out. We left at 4:30, but we really weren't pulled out away from everybody. We were probably about a quarter mile out, and we had the towing strap pulled from, Bart's port side cleat or starboard side cleat, and he was on our starboard side bow. And so it was rubbing on his power pole. So Bart turned around, pulled up next to our boat, and we were just trying to get it situated. So that's when Wyatt called Cito. And Wyatt was like, calls him, because the cell service isn't great at the island, but once you can use your phone, but stuff might not just send. And it's not great. You got maybe one bar, it won't work that well. But once you get a little off the island, you have cell coverage. And even on the island, like I called my mom when we were on the island, it was fine. Like we had enough cell coverage to make a phone call or shoot a text over, but you don't have enough cell coverage to like send a picture, for example. So Wyatt.
So I want to go back.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
I want to touch on that real quick, because the phone thing came up at some point.
Uh-huh.
And so was it when you guys got off the boat?
Yeah.
I mean, were people taking their phones off the boat, or is that not typical? Because I know that Nolan's phone was left on the boat,
right?
Even though after you guys had left. So can you explain that? Because I think people need to understand this a little clearer.
Yeah.
Was it typical for people to have their phones left on boats, or did they keep their phones in the water?
Yeah.
Because Ben Crump, Al Sharpton, they saying, 18-year-olds, they don't go nowhere without their phones. We on the water. These are white people. These are majority white people on the water.
Everybody kind of goes out to the island to get away from, their phones and everything else. I know I got on the boat to get away from, just the regular world. And no, when you're waist deep in water, no one's carrying their phone in their hand, especially at Horn Island. The water has been very, very murky because of the rain. And when
I run a podcast solo. No producer, no
Really,
editor, no tech skills, just Riverside.
I really should have ran this.
It's just very risky. If you're going to have your phone in the water, some people might for a couple minutes and like maybe taking some pictures of each other. I know a lot of girls like to take pictures in the water at Horn Island. Guys do too. Like people like to take pictures. And but a lot of the pictures you see are on the boat for a reason. And so, no, if someone is on their phone in the water, they're using it real quick and then putting it right back on the boat. We were all waist deep in water. No one's sitting there scrolling on their phone. I never saw that once. And I've never seen that once. And I've been out the Highland my whole life. That's just not something people do. People aren't on their phones. And everybody has their phone, yes, but it's always on the boat. No one's getting off the boat with their phone. So.
And so you guys get ready to leave out of there, getting towed out.
Yeah.
And then where's Nolan in this situation?
Well, Nolan was, the last time I saw Nolan was 3:00. And Nolan was cradling a girl in his arms.
Now I will say this. How did he know it was 3:00? He was way too specific with that. 3:00. It was 3:00. Usually somebody would say, it had to be around maybe about 3:15, 3:16. It's never that specific. Now, I'm gonna be fair. That was way too specific. It was 3:00. That was man. That was look. Man, that was a little. I don't know about that, man. I don't know about that young man. I don't know about that young man. I don't know. It was 3:00. Like, how did you know it was 3:00? You ain't got your phone on you. You're in the water. How did you know it was 3:00? I will say that.
Katie. And Katie, Nolan was sitting there, and the last time I saw him, I looked at Nolan, and Nolan was like shaking his head, laughing, and I was like, "Dude, you crazy?" I was like just joking with him, and but anyway, Nolan. That was the last time I laid eyes on him. But when we were leaving, obviously, no one is getting left at the island that came with us unless they demanded to, be there and asked. This is a very common thing at Horn Island. When you're out there, a lot of people ride out there with someone and in with somebody else all the time. I've done that 100 times. It's a very common thing. But Nolan was sitting by the boat with that Katie girl, and my buddy yelled for Nolan, get on the boat. We're leaving. The boat's having issues, and like
with that Katie girl. See, look, I don't want to. I don't want to be the conspiracy theorist. But he said with that Katie girl. Look, hey, my man. Look. With that Katie girl. That Katie girl was a white girl. That Katie girl was a white girl. And I don't care what you say. Nah. I don't know, man. That Katie girl. Who else liked that Katie girl?
Yeah, he didn't say that, but he was panicking. Nolan, get the F on the boat. Get on the boat. And Nolan said, no, I'm staying out here. I'm going to ride in with somebody else. And it's not uncommon to hear, but it's not like my buddy asked him one time. My buddy asked Nolan multiple times to get on the boat. Nolan, get on the boat. Get on the boat. We're leaving. If you're coming, you got to come now. And Nolan made a decision to stay out on the island. And like he said,
how many people heard that? Were there
at least
just a
5
few, or?
Everyone that was on our boat right there, because the Palm Beach had already left. My buddy went ahead and went home on the Palm Beach, and 3 guys on the way back. And Nolan wasn't the only person to ride out there with us and in with somebody else. I mean, we had multiple people in our group that rode out with us and rode in on someone else's boat. And that, like I said, that's not an uncommon thing to do. I mean, a lot of people do that. I could name probably 50 people out there that day that ran out with somebody and ran back in with somebody else. So, I mean, it's not like it's an uncommon thing, but it's not like we just left him there, or my friends just left him there. Nolan made a decision to stay on the island after my friends asked him multiple times and told him to get on the boat, and he decided to stay.
And I heard the girl that he was with, Katie.
Here's the question I would have asked. Here's the question I would have asked this cat. Did you feel that Nolan was in any danger by staying on the island? Why were you guys so adamant to tell him to get on the boat? If you felt that he can get a ride, He can get a ride from somebody else because it happens, like he said, it happens 100 times. He done it so many times where he'll stay out there, he can get a ride with somebody else. Why were his friends so adamant? Like, hey man, you need to get on this boat. Was he safe? Did you guys feel did you guys feel that it was safe to leave him out there? Is really the question with Katie. Is that the girl named Katie? Because look, I understand, man. I understand. I understand. We are still in America. We are still in America. And regardless of how you guys want to look at it, there are a lot of white people that's still out there that don't want to see their daughters, or not even their daughters, or any white woman with a black person. I understand and I know that. And there are black people out there that don't want to see their kids, daughters with no white person. That's just where we at. I'm not saying that's what happened, but I'm playing this video now. I'm asking questions.
Had text somebody.
Yeah.
That she heard people yelling.
Correct.
For Nolan to get on. Is
that
true?
And I have a picture of that. She texted my buddy, and the next day everybody was panicking and everybody's texting Katie, because she was obviously seen with Nolan the whole day at the island. Katie sent a message to my buddy the next day and said, this is the last time I saw him. He's really sweet. But she also mentioned that the last time she.
And I want to Paul over. Well, like I said, the phone, if you're in the water, if you're on a boat, your phone is going to be on the boat. If you ever been to a Caribbean island, Jamaica, anywhere in Caribbean, you're not going to have your phone on you. Your phone is going to be on the boat. You're not going to be in the water with your phone because you're like, I might drop it. That's for an 18-year-old. That's for a 50-year-old. His keys were at the house where he dropped his, where they all drove, where he stayed the night at. Look, that's his keys were at the house where he rolled up at. That makes perfect sense to me.
Saw Nolan was when my buddy was yelling at him to get on the boat, and she was right there to see that Nolan decided not to.
Yeah, and so you guys get in the boat, you start to get towed in. Mm-hmm. And you make it back. Now explain how did you get to the point where you were concerned about Nolan? Because obviously you said, hey, Nolan, y'all need to, or somebody, not
when
you,
did I get
but
to that point?
You guys had made mention Nolan need to get on a boat. Yeah. He didn't. Yeah. You guys get back to wherever you're going. Right. Explain that. Did you guys go back to somebody's house, or you guys like what happened there? And then when did you feel like, well, wait a minute, where's Nolan?
Right. Okay. Well, running in was very chaotic. I mean, Nolan chose to stay on the island, so my focus wasn't on anything else other than the boat, because if the boat doesn't get in, then no one gets in. I don't want to sink out there on my buddy's boat, and no one does. But my buddy Wyatt jumped out and pulled the plug on the boat once we kind of got out there, because he got the motor to trim down. And the motor trimmed down, my buddy Wyatt pulled the plug, and we planed off. We moved all the way to the front of the boat so we could plane off. And eventually we planed off and the boat was running. So when you're planed off and you have water in the boat and you're hauling, we're going pretty fast. We're going probably 40, 42 miles an hour. And so all that excess water that was built up in the boat is coming out of the boat. So, that's what we had to do. So we ran into Fort Bayou, and we didn't just run straight to my buddy's grandparents' house. We ran into Fort Bayou. A couple of us jumped in the water, and Wyatt, the whole reason for the stop was so Wyatt could hop in and put the plug back in the boat.
This is all irrelevant right now. This is all irrelevant.
So then after that, we went and docked it, and I went back to my buddy's house, and we ate and napped for a little bit. It was a long day at the island, so we were all tired, and eventually we go over to a girlfriend of mine. She was having people over for 4th of July. We were doing fireworks and stuff. So we all went over there to swim and, hang out. And I was
this infamous picture that I've seen online of Nolan in the water in the swimming pool.
Yeah.
Where is this picture associated with?
Because this is a picture that you guys have all seen, that picture that they said Nolan made it back. He made it back to the pool party. He made it back to the pool party. So this is the explanations for that, is what we're about to hear.
Because you said you guys went back to swim. Nolan wasn't with you.
Yeah.
So where's this picture at? Like, what's the context around that picture that's been floating?
That picture is taken on June 27th, a week before the 4th of July. We all went to a friend of ours in Pass Christian. We have a lot of friends from Bay St. Louis, Pass Christian. We all went over there to hang out, and
And Nolan was in that picture.
Nolan was in that picture, and if you look in the picture, my arm is around Nolan in that picture. And I mean, that was a week before the 4th of July, so that picture is not associated within even the same. I mean, that was like a week before, so yeah.
Okay, so look, I'm here just to look. I'm here to listen to these witnesses, to these people. That was a week before. That picture in the pool. That was a week before. This is what they're telling us now. So okay, this is what I'm gonna say. If it was a week before, so we should see more pictures. We should be able to see more pictures from that pool party. That wasn't the only picture. People don't just snap one picture. Let's go now, people. We need to uncover this now. Something happened to Nolan. I'm there. I'm there with you guys. Something happened. Like, you on the island. Like how was he? Like, we understand how he was left, right? Okay, the boat was having problems. Y'all left. Y'all gone. Peace out. All right, man. You staying? I done been through that before. I'm staying at the party. Y'all leaving? I'm staying here. We do that in the club. I'll find a ride home. Y'all done did that in the club. I find a ride home. I'm gonna ride with what's name, right? We've done that in the club, right? But in the water, I don't know, man. I don't know.
So you guys are now at swimming and having a good time at a lady friend's house.
Right. I never got to the pool. I talked to her dad for a while, and I mean, all my friends were downstairs. I went upstairs, talked to her dad. We were talking about boats and stuff, and I've been with my friends all day. I was just talking to everybody, but
so you talked to the young lady's dad, and then how long was it before you realized, or you guys realized that, well, where's Nolan at?
I mean, I went back downstairs, and all my friends were just hanging out, and my buddy Wyatt had addressed, talking about Nolan, and I was like, well, where is Nolan? Have y'all heard from him? And he was like, no, we haven't. And I was like, okay, well, it's a little concerning. Like, I mean, I'm not freaking out or anything, but like, I'm trying to find out where Nolan is. So I texted Javon, and I was like, hey, and also a couple other buddies that I had at the island. I was like, hey, have y'all seen Nolan? Did he ride in with y'all? And all the buddies were like, no. Well, I texted Javon, and I was like, hey, can you send me Miss Christine's number? Because I haven't heard from Nolan. And if she hasn't heard from Nolan, then I'm calling the Coast Guard. And so eventually Javon sends me her number.
Who is her? That's
Miss Christine.
Miss Christine is
Nolan's mom.
Nolan's mom. Okay.
Yeah. And I walked down to the dock because, I mean, there was a lot of people at Ava's. Not a lot, but, there was probably 15 of our friends there. And I was just like, walked down to the dock with a couple of my buddies, and I got on the phone. I called Miss Christine, called her the first time. She didn't answer. I called her a second time, and I got on the phone with her, and I asked her if she had heard from Nolan. She said no. And I said, all right, well, don't freak out. I'm going to call the Coast Guard. And this was at about 11 o'clock.
So what's your intent in calling the Coast Guard, right? Because right now, Nolan could.
I don't know, man. I might need to get Johnny Crockett on the case, man. I don't know, man.
be with a chick.
It's some shaky stories going on here. It's really like, I don't know, man.
He could be with somebody else.
Right.
He could have gone back with somebody else. What made you concerned enough that you felt like you couldn't weigh it out anymore? You had to call the Coast Guard.
Well, I mean, like I said, my friends and I have been on the water our whole life. Stuff happens. People die all the time. I know people that have died out there. And, you know, it's a fun place to be, but it's also a very, very dangerous place to be if you're not handling it right. And Nolan, so I hadn't heard from him. And obviously, I'm thinking I'd way rather be safe than sorry. I mean, I would rather call the Coast Guard 100 times and lose my mind over it, my buddy be okay, than, you know, not, and I, you know, me not know where he is and him not be okay. And so I called the Coast Guard and I talked to them on the phone for like 20 minutes, gave him a description, what Nolan was wearing, the last place we were at, the last time I saw him, who were we with, what boat we were on, the conditions of the water, just, you know, just a summary. And
I don't know, man. I'm about to cut this off. I'm about to get off. Look, you guys go to officertatum.com to hear the rest of it. I've heard the whole thing. And here's my thing. And I'm gonna get out of here. What up, Vontae? How you doing, man? Nah, and look, Vontae, that's my thing. It's like listening, and I'm listening to this shit. I'm like, hold on. It's like something ain't adding up. Well, it's nothing. It's not, first of all, an island full of people, and he ended up drowning or whatever it is. It's like, I understand people can drown and nobody see like what happened. That has happened before. However, I'm like, man, hold on, man. It's this Katie girl. These young kids. Somebody else liked Katie. Somebody else wanted Katie. And he hugged up with Katie. Somebody else liked Katie. Like, how the hell he get Katie? How the hell this black dude get Katie? Now, look, that's just the reality. I'm not saying this is a racial issue or anything like that, because we don't know that. We don't know what it is. But one thing I will say is, like, somebody had to see something. I'm like, somebody had to see something. Nah, it ain't adding up, Vontae. It ain't adding up, pimping. As pimping would say, it ain't adding up, man. I'm like, and I'm trying to avoid the race. I'm really, it's like this Katie thing. They yelling at him, hey man, come get on the boat. They basically was cock blocking. They was cock blocking. They seen him. This man said that he was hugged up with Katie. He was hugged up with Katie. And a lot of us have been there before. If you got you one, nah, I'm staying. And they telling you, come on, man, let's go. Man, let's go. That's cock blocking. Let's go. Like, no, why am I leaving? Can Katie get on the boat with me? How come Katie couldn't get on that boat and leave together? Yes. Look, man. Look, I'm gonna say this right. Me and my wife were in Tahoe. Nah, never mind. I ain't gonna tell that story. It's not even no story to tell. But yeah, it's like I want to hear from the Katie girl. Even though I think he talks about the Katie girl later, like after they pulled off, Katie left too. So where did Nolan go after him and the Katie girl like separated ways? Who else did he see? Who else was he around at that time? There are a lot of missing pieces in this story. There is. It really is. And hold on. I'm gonna play a little bit more of this. Let's see. Hold on, y'all.
I called Miss Christine back after and I talked to her.
Miss Christine is Nolan's mom.
And I said I got in contact with the Coast Guard. I'm not sure who she called or what she did, but I think she said she was going to make a couple phone calls to either DMR or Jackson County Sheriff's Office. And I was thinking worst case scenario. Like, I would way rather be safe than sorry about this,
Yeah, so you called. So it seems like you called mom immediately.
Right.
Probably the first phone call that she got from anybody.
That's the first phone call, like at least I made. And I would assume that's the first phone call she got from anybody because Javon hadn't called her. And, there's nothing wrong with that, but Javon hadn't called her. And, I was just worried about my friend. Stuff happens out there, boat problems. It could be anything. But, there's a lot of stuff that happens out there. And I was just worried about my friend.
And so you guys made that call, nothing that night. And I'm assuming you wake up the next day, and then what happens?
I wake up the next day at about 7:30, and my dad had texted me because obviously Nolan's photo was all over Facebook, and I just saw it everywhere, and I was freaked out because I was like, oh my gosh, like that, I assumed Nolan's just, we had been drinking all day and that he's just sleeping somewhere. And
Vontae, what you mean? What you mean by he too calm? Are you saying that he was like almost coached? Is that what you mean? Like, because I'm looking. I'm not a body language expert, but I'm looking at the crossed arms when he's saying certain things and this and that, and somebody knows something. That I'm gonna say that. I'm not saying these kids specifically know something.
That he's okay. But I didn't want to believe that if we didn't know for sure. So, next day I woke up and my stepdad walked to my room. He said, hey, like, have they heard anything about Nolan? Like, what's going on? Because I hadn't spoke to him. And he was like, I was like, yeah, no, like, I don't know. I had just gotten up. And he was like, all right, well, we're going and getting on the boat and looking for him. And I was like, okay, yeah. So I got my buddy Ricky, I got my buddy Brooks, I got my buddy Jax. My mom came on the boat with my stepdad and I, and we all went out there and looked. When I got out there, there was dozens of DMR boats, helicopters, planes flying over Horn Island. And this wasn't just Horn Island. There was also Ship Island. They were looking.
Nah, Vontae, I hear you, man. I hear you, man. If I hear you. But just listening to like you say, none of this adds up. It just, none of it like really is adding up. As far as nobody's seen anything. Like here's what I want to know. Okay, once you guys left him, okay, y'all yelled at him, get on the boat. He was hugged up with Katie. He hugged up with Katie, the white girl. He hugged up with her. Y'all cock blocking. Come on, man. We leaving. We live. Hey, man, we about to go. We going back to the house. And he like, nah, man, I'm gonna sit here. All you 50, 45-year-olds, you done been through that at the club. Y'all done been through that. We leave. So, okay, y'all left him. Y'all, okay, we gone. Where was like what happened after that? This is what we need to know. Like, where was he at after that? Who did he interact with after that? That's the key to the case right there. Who did he interact with after you guys said y'all both left? Y'all left. Y'all went back to the crib. Y'all gone. We can't talk to nobody else that interacted with Nolan after that. That's Officer Tatum. You're not come on, man. You look, this man that he interviewed on the couch, he said it happens look. And I'm not saying there's any foul play that's involved, but I'm trying to ask the critical questions of if everybody, it seems like he said, this is what he said in this interview, that it happens all the time when you drive out there with somebody and you may leave with somebody else. Did they question everybody that he could have left with? Who else was out there that he could have left with and came back home with? Because everybody didn't come into the same dock. All them boats wasn't coming into the same dock. At least I don't think so. Maybe they were. I don't know. Maybe it's one dock every boat comes that docks out from. Maybe it is. I don't know. To get to Horn Island. I don't know.
Looking at, I'm sure, in Chandelier Island, Petty Boy. I mean, it wasn't just Horn Island specifically, but where I was at Horn, there were boats everywhere, and not just like random boats, but like, marine resource boats and, cops and, the whole nine. Like, it wasn't like there was just a couple boats looking for Nolan. There was planes and helicopters and, everybody. So.
And then after this, obviously they didn't find Nolan that day.
Right.
And so what was your reaction like when you heard the news, or how did you hear the news that they found Nolan's body?
Well, the next day, it got to be about 1:00 on July 5th. And I was like, my mind started to turn. I was like, man, if he's not awake yet, like, where is he? Like, I got very, very worried. And, I was with my buddy Brooks the next day, and we're driving, and my buddies were texting my group chat. They were like, hey, listen. And then I got a phone call from my buddy Trace, and he was like, hey, man, they just found his body. And I was like, I wanted to have hope, but it was really, really hard to have hope when they haven't found your buddy in the last 2 days. And, but there's still a little bit of hope there, like maybe, he's not gone, and maybe, he's okay. But my reaction was just, I was with my buddy Brooks, and I broke down. I mean, I haven't experienced death a lot, but especially with someone I'm as close with as Nolan. And I mean, I broke down, and I sat there on my buddy Brooks' shoulder, and I cried, and I was upset. I made a couple phone calls to my buddies and checked up on my buddies because, I care about my buddies too. I mean, like, we're all experienced this. Like, we all realized at the same time. We all heard the news at the same time. Like, he's gone. And so it was really, really hard on me. I mean, I've never experienced something like this, and it was traumatic. I mean, I could tell you where and when I was there, when I got that phone call, where I was. And I just remember, like, it was insane. Like, I can't even put into words how upset I was, and how upset my friends were. So.
And then comes the stories and the backlash and,
right.
and the craziness. I mean, you guys are now hearing that you're responsible for it. You did it. You killed Nolan. So what was the next step? Did you guys ever engage with police or?
Yeah. So the first time I talked to the police was July 7th. I talked to the lead investigator, and I told him my whole story, top to bottom. Dotted every I, crossed every T. I told him everything I knew, every little detail. I mean, everything I could, tell them to try to figure something out,
Well, you don't want to talk to the cops, or
no, of course
some
not.
other guys?
And you know what? I'm gonna stop it at that. I really am. You guys go to Officer Tatum on YouTube. If you guys want to watch part 1, part 2, part 3, I'm gonna leave it at that. But I want to ask you guys a question for the people that's in here and the people that's gonna maybe watch on the replay. Do you still think we are living in our grandparents and our parents' era, where justice like that, like justice can be covered up? I look, and trust me, I'm not that naive to believe that people don't cover shit up. Come on now. Hell yeah. And then they're gonna cover some shit up. They can cover some stuff up. But how prevalent is it today versus our grandparents and our parents and our great parents era? This is what I'm asking. I don't know. I would hope to think that, well, like I said, I'm not an idiot. I understand that some people will cover up shit that their kids did. But I don't think, and I'm gonna say this, right? With this many people involved, if they did something wrong, right? Somebody gonna fold. Because there's a thing called conscience, right? And somebody conscience gonna break if it's something that they saw that was wrong. That's weighing on somebody's conscience, and some people can't hold that in. They got to let that out. They got to tell somebody. They said, "Man, I saw Nolan. Man, they drowned him. They choked him out. I saw it will come out." Everybody can't stay quiet. You can't have this many people unless the smaller the number, the better for them to sweep it under the rug. But if it's a group of people, somebody gonna fold. If something was done wrong to Nolan, it will come out. It will come out. Somebody gonna snitch. Them white folks don't. The white folks, they don't believe in not snitching. Well, they will cover their own, but somebody, it's gonna be on their conscience. Like, oh no, I can't let this happen. They'll come out and say something. But it's like it's something. Somebody, I do believe somebody knows something. I'm not saying these boys that he rolled out there with. I think he just stayed behind, and something may have he stayed behind. I know that for sure. That sound like me. That really sound like me. Nah, y'all go. I'll find a ride. I'm kicking it. I ain't ready to go because I'm never ready to go. I'm the last one. My wife will tell you. I'm the last one. I'm not ready to go. I remember I went to a Stiller game in Arizona, right? You know how they saying don't hang out. Don't be the only black guy hanging out with white people, right? Here's my experience hanging out with only white people. We was in Arizona and went to it was Steelers in Arizona game, right? Me, my wife, and I think Alexis, somebody. We got to the hotel. I met two white guys at the bar. And I had never heard of this. And I got to talking to them. I'm a friendly motherfucker. And I got to talking to them. And they was like, we're going on a bar crawl. I'm like, a bar? Like, what is a bar crawl? So I'm like, yeah, hell yeah. Babe, I'm going with the white guys. I'm going to hang with the white guys. So I went on a bar crawl with the white guys, right? So I'm with them on this bar crawl. And if you guys don't know what a bar crawl is, basically in a city, it's You just hit every bar with, it's like a loop. You do a bar loop. You have a drink at one bar, then you go to another one. You just go to all the bars, right? Bar crawl. And we were just drinking beer at first. We had 1 bar, 2 bar, 3 bar, but we drinking beer. Then we got to the last bar. They was like, let's do shots now. I'm like, shit, shots? I was like, we were supposed to start with that. But anyway, we got to the last bar. Now we ain't got separated. We separated now. I don't know these guys. We don't know these guys. We got separated. So I'm like, where they at? So I'm like, all right, I'm leaving. I'm leaving, walking down the steps. I get to the outside. I get bum rushed by the workers. Hey man, you got a tab. I'm like, I paid me. He's like, them guys that you was with. I'm like, I don't know them. And that dude was like, you ain't leaving. And I'm getting on my shit like, man, I'm out. I'm about to leave. Shit, that police walked up and he gave me an ultimatum. He said, either you paying this tab or you going to jail. I'm like, I'm here for a football game. I wanted to talk my shit. I wanted to get angry. I wanted to say these mo. I had to pay that tab. I paid that tab. However, I went home. Went back to the room. Next day, I told my mother-in-law. Shit, my mother-in-law saw them 2 white boys. The next morning, she was on their ass. Like, you left my son-in-law. You better come get us money, man. They came and broke that bread off quick. Boy, Margaret Key, rest in peace. Broke it off real quick. Look, I'm about to get out of here. Look, Nolan Wells, rest in peace. Look, let's just wait and see what happened. We don't know well, like I say, let's just not put race into it. We don't know. Because shit happens with black folks and black folks all the time, black folks and white folks all the time. Do I believe something? Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I do believe somebody had to see something. Somebody had to see something. I don't know if it was these kids or these people, but I have questions. And tell you, and here's what I'm gonna tell all you guys, man. This is what I always told my son. You check your surroundings regardless of who you with. I don't care what they look like, what color they are. You make good decisions. If it don't sound good, nah, I'm not gonna do that. Nuh-uh. I'm not doing that. Look, and if you out there on the boat in water and alcohol, smoking weed, whatever, I'm not saying they were doing that. It's a bad combination. Alcohol and water. You know, I've been in many situations with alcohol and water when people damn near get to fighting. Not a good combination. I don't know, man. But I want to hear from Katie. Y'all like and subscribe to the channel, Vegas Live Podcast. We gonna be back. I'll holler at y'all. I'm about to go lay my ass. What time is it? It's only 9:02. I might make another video, make people mad in Vegas. But anyway, man, you guys have a blessed night. Stay positive. Keep positive people around you. Holla.
Ladies and gentlemen, Reggie has left the building. Thank you and good night.